G'day guys and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to my round 6 NRL tips. Obviously last week myself and BKR Sport, we killed in the tipping world. I tipped the Manly Sea Eagles and as I said, they snatched victory from what was the jaws of defeat. They looked very hopeless in the game, but they got the win. They got the dub. As for BKR, he tipped the Cowboys, which was a very bold tip against the West Tigers at Leichhardt, but he got this one. So let's see if this man can do as good as we did or if I can back it up myself. I think it's a very hard round to tip if I'm being honest with you. You guys have seen this bloke on my Rabbitohs versus Knights vlog, but unfortunately that video has been taken down. So I did put up a little channel trailer which does include him. But guys, please welcome to the channel, Rugby League, in my opinion. How you going?
Yeah, pretty good. Entertain House. Thank you for having me on. Looking forward to getting into the week's games.
It's certainly a good week. There's some really big thrillers coming up. I think there's a lot of players out at the moment, which is a little bit frustrating for some of these exciting clashes. But one thing I think is we overhype games between, say, top four teams like the Panthers and the Raiders. And I thought it was an okay game, but I said that I thought the Roosters and the Sharks is actually going to be the game of the round. And I feel like these teams, there's overhyped games. And I feel like some of the games this week, people will discredit, but they'll be quite good. So let's get straight into it. The first game, once again, a Thursday night, this time at Suncorp Stadium, the Brisbane Broncos up against the Penrith Panthers. Now, the Panthers have been absolutely red hot. I'm just having a look at the sides now. Tessie New is out for the Broncos and Anthony Milford is out. Is he in the reserves? He's not even in the side. There you go. Huge change there. Brodie Croft and Tom Dearden as the halves for that one. As for the Panthers, it doesn't look, if there's any changes, it doesn't look like it. I think they'll be way too good here. I'm tipping Penrith by 22 here. I think they'll win 32 points to 10. I think they'll win comfortably. They've shown me that without their fullback, without their hooker, that they're still a really quality team. And the Broncos, look, I feel weird because I keep backing the Broncos to score more than 6 points and it never happens. So I'm going to give them one more chance to get some points. I'm going to go with Matt Burton as my anytime try scorer.
So, and as you know, Hayden, I've actually written these down before we started, so we don't know each other's tips, but I am going Panthers by 22 as well. So there you go. And as anytime try scorer, I'm going Brian or Bizarre. I mean, he's pretty much a guarantee at this point. He's so good.
He has to be. He didn't score last week, I don't think, which annoyed a lot of people, but he's been in some great form. I was arguing a few weeks back, I argued that he's probably the most in-form winger of the competition, and he probably still
Yeah.
is, but people are giving him a run for his money now. Moving on to the second game, we have the Newcastle Knights. They're chasing 4 straight losses, which is very unfortunate. Obviously injury ridden with Mitchell Pearce not playing in the 7, Blake Green getting that position up against the Cronulla Sharks, who are sitting in 9th. They very unlucky to lose against the Roosters, especially with the lead that they had. I think they've got a fantastic squad. One thing that I did see that I want to speak on is their bench. 17, Siasofa Talakai. Now, he's a fantastic player. Keep your eyes on him. He had a massive season last year, so I'm looking forward to him back in the side. Someone I have in my super coach, Tague Wilton, he is in for Wade Graham, and I think he's been doing a really good job. He scored a try against the Cowboys. I think this will be a close game. I almost want to tip Newcastle here. I'm not going to do it. I'm very close to tipping Newcastle. I just can't see the Knights, especially at home, losing 4 straight games in a row. But I think the Sharks, there's a lot going on with the club at the moment. Their coach, dramas, obviously. But I think they will come out firing and they will win this game. I've got the Sharks by 10. I'm just going to double check to confirm this. My scoreline is 22 points to 12. I think they will keep the Knights to 2 tries. And my anytime try score, I'm actually going to go with the Knights. I reckon, weird prediction, very weird prediction. I reckon all 12 points for the Knights will be scored by Connor Watson.
Okay. I have got the Sharks winning as well by 14. Obviously, it's literally breaking news as we record this. It would have broken not more than 20 minutes before we started recording, but Josh Hannay coming in as interim coach at Cronulla. John Morris out effective immediately with Craig Fitzgibbon to come in next season on a 3-year deal. I'm still going with the Sharks here because I believe that teams historically usually get the win when an interim coach comes in. At least that first week, they usually do get up. I'm tipping that to continue here. I obviously, if Morris was still coaching and none of this news broke, I would have still gone with Cronulla by 14. And anytime try scorer, I'm going for Will Bubba Kennedy, currently tied third in the Dally M points ranking. Of course, at the moment, Matty Moylan playing 5'8" for Cronulla. As soon as Sean Johnson comes back, he's going to take that 5'8" position. It's interesting to see what's going to happen with Moylan because honestly, the way that Bubba Kennedy's been playing, Moylan will not be the fullback. He'll have to shift somewhere else if he's going to be in that team because Kennedy's been amazing.
Yeah, he has been in some absolutely fantastic form. I was watching him in his juniors saying that he's got a bright future ahead, and we're already seeing it so early into his career. As you mentioned in those Dally M talks, there's a lot to like about. What do you call him, Bubba Kennedy?
Bubba, yeah, well, that's what the commentators have been calling him, Will Bubba Kennedy. So I take it that's just his nickname that he goes by, and yeah, I don't mind it.
Well, we've both got the Sharks there winning the first game on Friday night. The second game on Friday night, it really should be a cracker. It always is between these two teams. There's a bit of bad blood, I guess you could say. Obviously, Luke Keary is not in the side for the Roosters, which is a little bit unfortunate because he always fires up for this game. His kicking game's always on against the Storm. Got the Melbourne Storm in sixth with a 38-point win over the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs the other day, reaching 50. They looked red hot. Pappenhausen's in some great form, and so is Jerome Hughes. I think Jerome Hughes is having a really good season to start. I'm really looking forward to Jerome Hughes up against Sam Walker. As for the changes for the side, it doesn't look like there's any besides Adam Curran being named back on the bench for the Roosters in jersey 14. The Roosters snatched victory from the jaws of defeat the other night. They looked good. Sam Walker looks good. But Melbourne are at home here, and that's why I can't go past Melbourne. So I think it'll be close. I don't think Melbourne will blow them out of the water. I think the Roosters will turn up, play some good footy. It'll be fairly low scoring for the most part. I'm going to take Melbourne Storm here, 22-14. And I'm going to take Justin Olam for a try.
Storm by 8, Olam to score as well. Wow.
There we go.
Yeah. Well, it's the two most successful clubs of the NRL era going at it. And even with a Luke Keary out, the Roosters are still going to be thereabouts at least. And the way Sam Walker's playing at the moment, he doesn't necessarily need to keep playing to this level. It's understandable if he has a drop off, right? Because he's only 18, his first season in first grade. But thus far, he is living up to the hype that he's a generational talent. And I mean,
Yes.
if he continues playing as well as he has been, I'm not saying he will, but if he continues to do so for the rest of the season, then the Roosters are probably back up there as premiership contenders because the hype is so big. And yeah, as I said, thus far, he's living up to it. But in this one, I think Melbourne will be too strong.
Your boys here. Your boys face the Manly Seagulls, who got their first win of the season. They'll be taking a lot of confidence out of that. They're off the bottom of the ladder. They're not in 16th position this week, guys. The Manly Seagulls, they're in 15th. They've also got their young gun fullback in Tom Travojevic back, which is just awesome to see. I can't wait to see him up against AJ Brimson. I like what I saw from the Gold Coast last week. Obviously, the hat trick to David Fafita, kicking game of Jamal Fogarty. He looked really injured in Raiders and Titans, but had a fantastic game. I backed Kevin Proctor for a try last week. Who did I pick for a try this week? I picked Ash Taylor. I reckon Ash Taylor might bag a try. And I reckon the Titans will win by 20. I didn't see enough from the Seagulls the other night. I thought they got very lucky in that win, even though I tipped them. Take the Titans at Mudgee here, 26 points to 6.
Yeah, I'm going to Titans by 18. Corey Thompson to score any time. I think he's been great this year. Probably our best winger, possibly best outside back thus far this season. Yeah, Manly, look, they got the win against a depleted Warriors side too. Because it was only a 1 point game, I guess you'd have to say if Warriors were full strength, they'd probably find a way to get the job done. Yeah, a close game, but I think the Titans get it done against Manly and Mudgee. And I believe for the past 2 seasons, the Titans and Seagulls have versed each other in Mudgee, or at least in a country town. I believe it is Mudgee.
I think a
So
country town.
yeah,
Definitely a
yeah,
country town. I'm not sure about the whole Mudgee situation,
yeah,
but yeah,
yeah.
no,
Well,
it should be a good game for your boys. They should get a good win. Should
yeah.
get some points
Well,
on.
yeah, I was going to say, ever since this has become an annual fixture, I think the Titans have actually flogged Manly on both occasions. And last year was Tom Trebojevich's return game where he got injured again against the Titans. So for him to return in this one, maybe they should have saved him a week. Maybe not.
Is that your
Maybe he'll.
prediction? Is that your
Uh,
prediction for the
uh,
week? Tom Trbojevic to do his
nah,
hamstring?
you can't be predicting injuries. Like,
Nah.
you can't predict them. It's a bit unfair, but I'm just saying, if history is to repeat itself, then I don't know, maybe they should have held him out for a round. But I'm going the Titans here by 18. Corey Thompson a score, and hopefully a fit and healthy return for Tom
For Tommy.
Trbojevic.
Love it.
Yeah.
Moving on to our next game. We've got the Rabbitohs and the Tigers. And look, in history, this game is always close. This game shouldn't be close. The Rabbitohs are really hitting some form. The Tigers got smashed at Leichhardt against what we consider a dreadful Cowboys side that turned up. But you know what, Oliver? I'm so close to tipping the Tigers here. I'm so close. You know I love an upset. I can't, but I think they will turn up. I think this will be a very good game, probably game of the round. I'm taking the Rabbitohs to win by 6. I know I've seen a lot from Souths, and I think they look really good quality. I believe they have Cody Walker back as well. So, look, there's a lot to like about the Rabbitohs, especially being at ANZ, but I think the Tigers will bring it to them. That period of time where they scored 20 points within that 10 minutes just showed me that there's a lot of faith in the Tigers. Offa Hengawi was brilliant. Adam Dewey's having a great season. There's some really good battles. The fullback rookie, Dane Laurie. I'm tipping the Rabbitohs to win, but I'm so... If I get this right, my head says the Tigers win this. I'm tipping the Rabbitohs 22-16. Anytime try scorer Jacob Host.
Well, I have to back up your comments that it could be a close one because just look at the past 2 rounds, right? The Tigers go up against an, at the time, undefeated Parramatta Eels, your boys, and with 3 minutes to go, there was 2 points in it. And the Tigers looked like, they had the momentum going their way and looked like they could have gone on and got the win. And then go up against the Cowboys, who, in my opinion, have been, from what I've seen in terms of on the field, they have been the worst team in the competition. The Bulldogs come close, obviously, but for me, the Cowboys just take it, and they lose. Yes, in the end, it was a close game, but at halftime, to be getting smashed by the Cowboys, man. So it depends on what Tigers team turns up. Really, I'm going the Rabbitohs by 16,
Okay.
but that won't necessarily be an indication of a flogging. That could be an indication of, well, there's 4 points in it with 10 minutes to go, and South Sydney get a couple of late tries. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And I go on AJ, Alex Johnston, anytime.
that's a pretty good one there. The next game I will be at, I'm really looking forward to this one. The Parramatta Eels, they have not won in Canberra in 15 long years of suffering. And we're coming off a shock loss to the St. George Illawarra Dragons after a 4-0 start to the season. I just want to say, and I'll speak probably about this more in the Dragons and Warriors, but I don't really do recaps anymore. But if I was to recap one team, it would be the Dragons. We were waiting for them to play a powerhouse side. They take on Parramatta at Bankwest. They look like the real deal this year, St. George. They are top 8 contenders, arguably just based if on that game, if they keep it up, in my opinion, top 4 contenders. I don't think they'll be there, but the individual performance from them was probably the best individual performance I've seen in 2021, in my opinion. And I've still got the Panthers winning the premiership as front runners, but this St George side looked dangerous and the team worked together. Enough about the Dragons, though. Let's talk about the Eels. So Dylan Brown is out, meaning that Will Smith comes into the side. Who gets the bench spot? I need to check this. I need to double check this. So coming onto the bench is Bryce Cartwright, as well as Keegan Hipgrave. There you go, Keegan Hipgrave. Someone I wanted in the squad is back. I said I don't mind Bryce Cartwright, but didn't have a great debut last week, obviously. So Keegan Hipgrave brings a lot to our side in some key moments, especially on the bench. Isaiah Papali'i on the bench. Ryan Madison is named in the squad, but I just want to go back a few years when he was named for 6 straight weeks and was out due to concussion. It seems like it's a similar situation and we're repeating ourselves here. As for the Raiders, Caleb Aikens in jersey 1, massive loss of chance, Nickel Clockstad. It's 8th versus 5th. It should be a close game. And I'm going with my boys to respond here. I think that the Raiders are definitely a quality team. They should win this game. If I'm being honest, the Raiders should win this game, especially with that hoodoo over Parramatta. But I just think there's too much to like about the leadership of Gutherson, the kicking game of Moses I've seen in the defence lately, and our forward pack off the bench. So whether we win it all the way or whether we snatch it from a forward try, I'm taking the Eels here 18 points to 14, and I reckon Tom Opacek will score.
Yeah, well, this is going to be our first disagreement of the video. And you know what? I feel very rude coming onto your show and tipping against your boys. I am tipping Canberra by 4, though. So
Okay.
It will be a close game.
So I
As you
tipped
brought
Eels
up,
by 4.
yeah, that hoodoo you bring up, I am a little surprised that Canberra are actually the favourites heading into this one. I thought Parramatta would retain that tag considering they've just lost their first game of the year. But yeah, in Canberra, at the start of the year, Canberra were my tip to win the premiership, probably up until last week against the Panthers. I wanted to see them go up against a fellow title contender and see how they went. I'm not going to drop them straight down, though, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
I'm questioning their premiership credentials, but I guess I'm going to back them this week. Look, if they lose by any more than 10 against Para, then for me, no. But I've got them there at the moment. And yeah, Raiders by 4, Sebastian Chris to score, who I think has been amazing this year. And Jared Croker, since returning, has not played too amazingly the past couple of weeks. So he is dangerously close to being replaced by Chris, in my opinion.
Okay. Interesting one there. Well, we've gone against one there. We've gone against. Let's see if the trend can continue. But I'm looking forward to this. It's going to be a massive vlog. My nan's going to be in it. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be such a good atmosphere. It's going to be freezing cold. I'm really looking forward to it. The next game sees the St. George Illawarra Dragons against the New Zealand Warriors. Now, guys, before I speak about this game, I want to speak to you about a giveaway. And I want you to guess the score in the comments right now of the Parramatta Eels and the Canberra Raiders game. If you get the score right, you get a ticket to the Dragons and the Roosters on Anzac Day. I will be there. You will get to be featured in the vlog. The seat will be different to mine, so you won't be sitting with me, but you will get a free ticket. This is something I'm really excited about, something big for the channel. So I'll be getting around the Dragons. If you're getting around the Roosters, good on you. But you must guess the Eels versus Raiders versus Eels score, if I might add. Anyway, guys, I'm going to tip the Dragons here. I think they were in some fantastic form the other night, and I think they can keep it up. They're currently sitting in 4th position on the NRL ladder, and I think they'll be there again this week because I think they'll win by 14 points. I'm going to tip Cody Ramsey for a try and the Dragons 28 points to 14 here. I think they look really quality, and they're at home as well.
Yeah, so I've got to put this in because I like, at least at the moment, bragging about it as much as possible. So the weekly podcast I do, Footy and Frothies of the Wednesday, before the season started, we did a bold predictions episode. It was a bold prediction for each team. I tipped the Dragons to make a push for the finals.
I
They were the
remember that.
favourites to win the wooden spoon. Hey, only
Look at
round
him
six.
go. Look at him
It's
go.
only it's only round six, but and I also only tipped them to make a push for the finals. So if they actually made the finals of the top four, I guess I got it completely wrong. But yeah, I'm going the Dragons here, especially against a depleted Warriors side. If the Warriors had gotten up last week and Fanua Blakes, for example, was still in the team, then I'd probably be leaning towards the Warriors if I'm honest, because they looked good the first couple of weeks. I'm going to go the Dragons by 10 here. I'm going to show the Warriors some respect still. It is Roger Tuivasa-Sheck's 100th game for the Warriors
Ooh.
as well this weekend.
Ooh.
And I'm going Zach Lomax, anytime try scorer.
I don't mind that one. Lomax had a big game the other day. I didn't know it was Rogers' 100th Warriors game. That's an interesting
Yeah.
one, especially with him leaving the club. If you're tipping the Warriors in the comments, let me know based off that. We've got the final game of the round now, and it's dreadful. It's the North Queensland Cowboys against the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. It really could honestly be a battle for the wooden spoon. Look, I've gone overhyped on the Cowboys based on their performance. I sent out messages saying, get on the Cowboys to make the top 8, and I'm ludicrous right now at that. It's a hard game to tip. It really is, because Canterbury, they definitely need a win. They scored 18 points against quite a quality Melbourne Storm side. They have been a little bit off the Melbourne Storm, but still, for them to put 52 and then to score 18 against them after being kept to nil by the Panthers. Who else kept them to nil? Who else?
Oh, I've had a mind blank. So
I had a
round
mind blank,
two,
but
the
the
Panthers,
Rabbitohs
Rabbitohs,
and
round
the Broncos.
four. Broncos, yeah.
The Broncos, yes. So I think they won't be kept to nil. I think they will score more than 6 points once again. Last week, I remember Blaze said, you think they'll score tries? And I said yes, and I think they will this week. But I'm tipping the Cowboys here, and honestly, I think they will hold on to a lead this week. I think they'll win 13 plus. I'm tipping the Cowboys 26 points to 10. Their home record isn't great, but I think they'll fire up for the home fans against a team that's a little bit quality. I want to make an early tip now, and if I get this right, I'll pre-record this and chuck it on and call myself the hero. But I think the Bulldogs will get the wooden spoon. And I think that the issue is Manly or Cowboys or even Tigers will be a worse team. The Bulldogs will score more points than them, but the Bulldogs just can't find a way to win games. And for that reason, that's why Canterbury will get the wooden spoon. But the Cowboys 26 to 10 here in the last game of the round. I'm going with Shane Wright to break his try drill.
Yeah, I'm going with the Bulldogs to win here
Oof.
by 18. And the reason as to why,
Oof.
well, first of all, the Cowboys are my tip for the wooden spoon currently. It's just so from what I've seen in the first 5 rounds, barring round 5 itself. So I'm looking at all 5. For me, yes, the Bulldogs haven't been able to score for a few weeks, but it's more been, I guess you notice when they've had the ball in hand, they've just looked stagnant. They've not really been making too many mistakes, as you'd expect from a team who's not scored for a while. Whereas for me, the Cowboys have just looked dreadful, error-ridden football, etc., and poor defense for me as well. They have, to me, in my personal opinion, from what I've seen on the field, been the worst team in 2021. Now, I also look to the future. Okay, yeah, the Cows will probably have an Adam Reynolds, let's say, coming in next year because Morgan's now been medically retired. But what about 2021? There's nothing really that they can do to get anything going for them. Whereas the Bulldogs, you could argue they've got a lot of young players who have just joined the club this year. Maybe they do need time to gel, and maybe with a couple of rounds to go, it'll click. They'll get a couple wins, and that's how I see them escaping the wooden spoon. I guess you could say I see that little light coming through the roof for the Bulldogs. Uh, that little reason as to why I think they may improve in 2021. Honestly, I don't see it for the Cowboys. And while that doesn't really have any impact on this game here, as you said, it's so hard to pick that
Mm.
that is what I'm actually going to base this game on. And I guess because the Bulldogs might have a bit of an upside later in the season, I'm going to tip them here. Now, I believe this man is in doubt. I'm not sure if he was actually named in the side today, although I heard rumblings there was a bit of doubt. Luke Thompson to score, and that's purely because he got the first try in 3 weeks for the Bulldogs last week. So I'm tipping him to back it up.
Nice. I don't mind that tip there. Well, I'm trying to think of a Bulldog that will score. I want to back Nick Kotrick. I want to see Nick Kotrick get his first
Yeah.
Canterbury try. I'll go Nick Kotrick for the Bulldogs to score. But so I've gone different in that game, and we've gone different in the Eels and the Raiders game. But yeah, guys, make sure you comment the score for the Raiders and Eels if you want to attend the Anzac game next week. Thank you so much to Oliver from Rugby League, in my opinion, for jumping on the channel for the tips. And what do you think the game of the round will be?
Game of the round. Now, it was interesting what you brought up at the start, and I'm going to give it a shout out again. The Footy and Frothies podcast of Wednesday. We always bring up the fact that there are two games of the round, really. There's the hyped game of the round in terms of positioning on the ladder, and then there's the game of the round in terms of what will be the most enjoyable game to watch in terms of the on-field product we receive. So I am going to stick to that one here. In terms of the most hyped game, it's going to be the Storm up against the Roosters. And while this game will be hyped as well, to an extent, not as much, it probably would be hyped as the game of the round if the Storm and Roosters weren't playing beforehand. But in terms of the on-field product, I am going to go with the Raiders and the Eels. Both sides have points in them. I'd say both sides score at least 20 points in this one, and it'll come down to the wire.
You reckon?
We got a golden point game between these two last year, which a bit of controversy around that, to say the least. But it was a high-scoring, entertaining game of football. So I'm tipping these two teams to replicate that.
Wow, I love it. Well, guys, make sure you do subscribe to Rugby League, in my opinion. Follow him on Facebook. Make sure you subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. We're almost on 3,000 subscribers. And as I said in my channel trailer, there's going to be fireworks. You've seen this giveaway. So what's next to come? You can't even prepare yourself. Thank you so much, guys. Let me know your tips in the comments, and I will see you guys on Saturday night for a Raiders versus Eels vlog.